Good afternoon. This is the Board of County Commissioners meeting. It is 2:01 p.m. I'm Carolina Mejia. I'm the chair of the board. In the boardroom is Vice Chair Ty Menser, as well as Commissioner Gary Edwards, County Manager Ramiro Chavez, and Clerk of the Board Jamie Caldwell. I'm calling this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Edwards.
Please join me in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with
Liberty and justice for all.
Sounds
Thank you, sir. Next, Vice Chair Menser, would you like to do a land acknowledgement?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We would also like to start today with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Indigenous Salish peoples whose elders and ancestors have lived on and cared for the land and waterways of this county since time immemorial, and who still inhabit the area today, specifically the Squaxin Island, Nisqually, and Chehalis people, our sovereign tribal partners. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. The purpose of this acknowledgement is to disrupt ongoing erasure of injustices done and to remember history as a stepping stone towards healing.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I'm ready for an approval of the Tuesday, July 12th agenda.
I move for approval of the proposed agenda for Tuesday, July 12, 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Next is the approval of the board meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
I move to approve board meeting minutes from June 28, 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No,
I'll
ma'am.
call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Next, we have 3 presentations scheduled today. I do want to let everyone know that we will be pausing at 3 p.m. for a public hearing, and we will be taking public comment for that. So with that, we'll start with our first presentation, which is the Community Planning and Economic Development presentation of Thurston County Incidental Take Permit. And
yeah, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Before I give the floor to Christina Chapeau, I'm so delighted to present this item before you. And the reason as to why I'm so delighted, because it has been a long journey. This journey started for the county back in early 2010s, 2013, 14, when the Mazama pocket gopher was listed as an endangered species here in Thurston County. Through many trials and tribulations, and through so many different coordination meetings and coordinating strategies with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, has put us in the position to have an approved habitat conservation plan, put us in the position to have an incidental take permit today. What that does is to the citizens and residents of Thurston County no longer will have what I call the dark cloud in order for them to do and develop their properties as they see fit. There's several steps that we need to take, obviously, and we're planning to have this up and running January 1st, 2023. But certainly this is the first and most pivotal step that we have achieved in coordination with U.S. Fish and Wildlife. From my humble perspective, thank you to members of U.S. Fish and Wildlife. Thank you for the county staff for their diligence and hard work and coordination to bring us to this point, really. So I look forward to hear a little bit more. And just as a matter of acknowledging, this process has begun through so many different boards and commissions, and Board of County Commissioners, really. And I'd like to acknowledge Commissioner John Hutchins here in the audience, because he was also part of that process as we move forward into this pivotal milestone. With that in mind, Christina?
Good afternoon, Board, County Manager. I am Christina Chapeau, the Community Planning Manager with CPED, and today I'm here to announce that U.S. Fish and Wildlife has issued the county an incidental take permit approving the Habitat Conservation Plan. In 2012, when U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service contemplated and in years following listed several species under the ESA, the county began the process in creating a programmatic habitat conservation plan that would provide the conservation needed to protect the species and their habitat while improving and streamlining the permitting process for the projects that impact these listed species. As County Manager Romero Chavez stated, that this has been a while coming. The Thurston County Habitat Conservation Plan supports permitting efficiencies and predictability for development and infrastructure projects. This approach helps to avoid conflicts, supports predictability for development interests, and advances better conservation outcomes from the traditional piecemeal project-by-project approach. The HCP is a result of collaboration between various individuals and organizations, including departmental coordination between Development Services and Public Works, our consultants, independent technical and scientific assistance from Thurston Regional Planning Council, staff at the Center for Natural Lands Management, WSU Extension, WDFW, and of course input received from stakeholders such as the Thurston Economic Development Council, Olympia Master Builders, our real estate community, and the public in general. I want to thank the Board of County Commissioners, current and previous, and to U.S. Fish and Wildlife staff, some who are with us today, including Brad Thompson, the State Supervisor. By proactively addressing the long-term conservation needs, the Habitat Conservation Plan strengthens local land use and provides greater flexibility in meeting different needs such as housing, transportation, and economic growth. Thank you.
Brad?
Thank you.
Sorry about that little height difference. Brad Thompson, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, State Supervisor. It's a pleasure to be with you, Board of County Commissioners, today, and virtually Chairperson Mejia. Wish you could be here today, but we'll celebrate with you another day. On behalf of U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, very proud to be here today. It's a pleasure to announce, as you heard, that the Fish and Wildlife Service has approved the application for the HCP from Thurston County for multiple prairie species. As previous remarks have been provided, it has been a really good partnership, and we've worked with so many different people. I'd like to acknowledge some of those here, including our current county commissioners, Chris Chapeau, Josh Cummings, Romero, John Hutchings, former commissioner in the back here, and many others. I'd also like to acknowledge a significant number of people just collectively within the Fish and Wildlife Service, some currently still in our office, others who have retired, and others in other jobs still having a hand touching leading to this moment today. It's a tremendous accomplishment from the permitting perspective and on our partnership working together here in our community for mutual benefits of recovered species, but also the community's economy at large. And although we've said several times that it's been quite a while, it is the beginning. At the same time, in the next 30 years, with the county being permitted to take on this lead role and responsibility, and we look forward to standing side by side with you, hand in hand, as we work together to implement the HCP. And just pleasure to be here today, and thank you. With that, I think you've already received the formal permit, but for today's purposes, I have kind of a ceremonious one as well. So congratulations. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today with you to celebrate.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. And I imagine, commissioners, would you like to take a picture?
Yes, commissioners, any comments perhaps?
Sure. Oh, any comments? Oh, Dr. Thompson, right? And so you've grown into this as well. How long ago did you start on this process here?
2013 or so, yeah.
Yeah, so you've been here, it's been quite a run, and frustrating, but thank you. I'm glad we're finally there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's been good to work with you.
Commissioner Menser?
Really, I'm at a loss of words because there's been no project that I've worked on as commissioner, and I'm in my 4th year, that's had the importance, the impact, the frustration, the complexity, the longstanding history as this. So to be here and see this and have an incidental take permit in hand is really exciting for me. So, you know, there's a couple more steps, but there's steps within our control. And this was the step that wasn't entirely within our control. So that's why I think we're all so excited to be here and have this in hand that we can now run with and better serve our citizens. So really exciting.
Did I hear somebody say we're going to take a permit?
Yep.
The chair might have a comment.
The chair may have a comment.
Well, no, I was actually, you know, I'm the newest one on here, and it's just, I feel like I came right at the sweet spot, right? Right when, you know, we were right at the finish line. So it's very exciting. And I'm very excited towards the future, just looking forward. But I did want to give a chance for Commissioner Hutchins, since he has joined us, to see, you know, he was here on the board while most of the work was being done. So I wanted to see if he wanted to say a few words.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Apparently you've not learned not to give me a microphone yet. You know, the commission that on which I served and chaired was only not even 50% of this time frame. It was only 4 years out of 10. And so all we did was push and prod and question and keep it on the burner. But it was actually, I give credit to Director Josh Cummings and his team, excellent team of subject experts, and Brad Thompson with Fish and Wildlife and his team. And this is a great moment in the sun for the county. But we were just a minuscule piece of it. All these folks behind it did all the work. And I'm very proud and very happy. Happy to see it to fruition. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, so with that.
The photo up.
Madam Chair, what do you think Commissioner Hutchins could come up and get his picture taken?
Maybe all involved in the process can come.
Well, sure,
Please.
yeah. I want to stand right next to the guy.
All
with
of
the
you,
permit.
please come in. All of you work hard on this. Come on.
I'll be damned. Didn't think I'd ever see it. Hey, thank
This
you.
is a joyful moment.
Here, Hutch, hang on to that. No, you just stay right where you are. There you go. Oh, excuse me. Great, super. Hey, Chris, hey, very good. Hey.
Thank you, Brad. Good to see you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Great. Thank you all very much. With that, we will move on to our next presentation, which is from our County Road Administration Board presentation.
And I have Scott Lindblom, our county engineer, to present the item, Madam Chair.
Perfect.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Scott Lindblom, County Engineer. Grateful for your time this morning, this afternoon. The one item on this agenda is the presentation by the County Road Administration Board. And just to real briefly, I know your agenda is very full, but just to tell you who the CRAB Board is, that's the County Road Administration Board. It's a state agency whose mission is to help the counties preserve and enhance all 39 counties' transportation infrastructure. They do that through administering standards of good practice, administering funding programs, as well as providing some fantastic support to the 39 county engineers statewide, including myself. I think I'm very blessed to be the county engineer with CRAB Board just a couple miles away from my office, so they're very familiar with me, and I appreciate their continued support. I think my guess is one of the favorite programs they have is the brief presentation that they'll be giving you today. And to do that overview of this, what again, I believe is their favorite program, we have the Executive Director of CRAB and the Deputy Director of CRAB, Jane Wall and Drew Woods. So with that, I'll pass it over to them.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. County Manager Romero, sorry, I just had a brain fog there. Thank you, and it's wonderful to be here. As Scott mentioned, one of the programs we have at CRAB is we give out some annual awards. One of those being the Project Manager of the Year Award, which we are happy to be here to present today. Typically, this award is given out at our annual conference, the County Engineers Association annual conference. Sometimes circumstances inhibit that from happening, so we're grateful that you could host us today to hand out this award. Normally, we keep a little bit of a secret, tongue-in-cheek, but today I'm just going to go ahead and spit it out. Today, we're here to acknowledge and award Steve Bricker for his wonderful work as project manager for the Mullen Road project here in Thurston County, going from the Lacey city limits to Carpenter Road intersection. This was a 2-year-long project, brought in on time and on budget. Very complex project, including electrical, telecommunication, water, sewer, adding turn lanes, bike and pedestrian facilities, lighting, stormwater treatment, and a roundabout. If you went down a list of things you can do on a road, I think you pretty much checked just about every box with this project. It's major arterial, carrying 12,000 vehicles per day. And just a little note, it's one I drive often myself. The project limits include hundreds of homes, 13 intersections, and 1 stream crossing. There's also a fire station, 2 elementary schools, and a high school adjacent to the project. And the intersection of Mullen and Carpenter had, and I use past tense, one of the highest crash rates in the county. I'm sure that'll no longer be the case with the roundabout that was put in right there. Steve and his team are always looking ahead to the upcoming work and figuring out ways to phase the work, to maintain traffic corridors, and keep the project on schedule. As with any project, especially those with a considerable amount of underground work, changes are inevitable and need to be made during construction. Steve was proactive, looking ahead to future potential conflicts and providing extensive coordination between the contractor and the city of Lacey to minimize the impacts to the project's critical path, keeping it on schedule. He also provided the steady leadership needed to help keep all parties focused on the best outcome for the community while protecting the public interest. He worked closely with the City of Lacey staff, and I would also like to acknowledge the letter of support that we received from Public Works Director Scott Egger at City of Lacey on Steve's behalf, and also the letter of support that we received from Commissioner Mejia. To close, I'm going to use Scott Lindblom's words because I couldn't say it better myself. Managing road construction projects is always challenging. The sheer size and complexity of this project sets it apart from any other public works project in years at Thurston County. Steve's steady leadership, forward thinking, and outstanding communication during the construction process helped balance all the needs of the many stakeholders. Steve's exceptional performance went above and beyond anyone's expectations. So with that, please join me in congratulating Steve Bricker for being the 2022 Project Manager of the Year.
Woohoo, Steve!
You even get something to put up on a bookcase. There you go. Don't drop it.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
I think a photo op might be in order.
Yes, Steve, is there anything you would like to say?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody on my team and really at Public Works, the city of Lacey. There was a million people and different moving parts on this, so many people that worked so hard to do this project. And yeah, I'm really surprised by this, but I really appreciate it. This is really cool. And it was a difficult, challenging project. Hopefully we don't have to do another one again, but I got 20 years left, so probably will. We had a project similar to this 12 years ago, and I remember the construction manager at that time decided to retire early before it, so I was too young to do that, but thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate it.
Please come up front with a picture with the commissioners. Drew,
Thank you. And then can Jane and
Jane?
Drew join?
Scott, Jennifer.
Jennifer?
Chair,
Yes.
say, before we do this, I just want to make a suggestion. For those of you that haven't seen this, we had a presentation here a little bit back, and somebody had a photograph of this project from the air. And I don't know if it's possible that we have that in our stuff. We had a presentation here a while back. Boy, it would be great if we could put that up on the screen that the public could see that should they be watching. I don't know if I might be putting somebody on the spot. I don't know, you tech people, if you can just bring that up, but it is amazing.
Right now?
If possible. I mean, I'm just saying, some of you folks are fast on that. Not me, obviously. It really was a success. It's a piece of art. That's okay, I got my hat on so they can tell us apart.
Yeah, there we go.
Good.
Great.
Thank you very much. Good job.
Thank you
Good
so
job.
much, Drew and Jane,
Very
for
good.
joining us.
But that photo, somehow we got to get that out to the public. Yeah, I know. I should have thought about that ahead of time, but late.
Congratulations, Steve. Okay, with that, we'll move on to our final presentation, and it's the approval of Commissioner Emeratus' title for Historic Commission member Sandra Crowe.
And Jeremy Davis is going to present that in for you, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Jeremy Davis with Thurston County Community Planning and Economic Development. And today I'm here to ask the board to bestow upon Sandy Crowe, Historic Commissioner Emeratus. Sandy has had a leadership role on the Thurston County Historic Commission and the creation of the Water, Woods, and Prairies book. The Thurston County Historic Commission itself is charged with managing the county's Heritage Grant Program, our county historic register, and also for helping to educate the citizens of Thurston County on Thurston County's history. I'm going to keep my remarks really short today because I know you have a really long meeting, but I am going to turn the mic over really quick to the Historic Commission Chair, Rob Kirkwood, for a few words.
Hello, I'm Rob Kirkwood, Chair of the Thurston County Historic Commission, and I've got a plaque here for Sandy, if she'd like to come forward. Sandy's been a very big supporter of our crazy ideas, so it's really nice to have her be here. And when she said that she had to find something better to do, I asked her if she would stay on in this, and I don't know if it's Emeritus or whatever the fancy word is. We've got this, and I'd like to say that this is made out of a piece of cedar. That's it took about 70 years for this piece of cedar to grow. So it has its own little history here on the side if you want to figure out what the weather was like in those days. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it took a whole lot of volunteer effort and a whole lot of time and a lot of expertise to put together the Thurston County History book. But I would like to say that that never would have happened had we not had the support of the Board of County Commissioners and the Historic Commission and our great county staff. So on behalf of myself, I'm very honored to receive this, and I just appreciate it very much. I will honor this piece of cedar. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sandra, before you sit down, I want to give the commissioners a chance to say something and then maybe a picture as well. Commissioner Edwards?
Well, I guess the only thing I'll say is I'm kind of part of that history because I'm so old. So anyway, I want to thank you very much. And I think we're holding out on your certificate of recognition until we get the chair of the board to sign, but we're going to get it to you shortly. So thank you very much, Sandra. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Commissioner Menser?
I'd just like to thank you very much. The thing that I've worked up with you most closely on is the history book, and I read it cover to cover. I love history, and it's a wonderful legacy that our kids will have in order to understand more about where they come from. And so something like that is just irreplaceable. So thank you for your work on that. It's a beautiful piece of work, and very proud to have been able to find ways to produce it and promote it, and we'll continue to do that to honor your legacy. Thank you.
Yeah, Sandra, I agree with that. Thank you so much for your hard work on this with the Historic Commission. I mean, it's just so important for our future generations to know our history, and you've just continued to give to us. So thank you again. And I'll let the picture now take place.
How about if Jeremy and Rob came up with Sandra?
Of course.
And then I'll give this to Jeremy, and you can take care of getting that final signature. Is that fine, sir? Okay. Here.
My good side here.
Well, just to show something's in it, this doesn't have all the signatures, but yes. Okay, thank you, Rob.
Thank you
Jeremy,
so much.
here, why don't you take this, Sandra? And Jeremy will get that. It needs one more signature. Congratulations, thank you.
Okay, so next is an opportunity for the public to address the board. Now, the Board of Thurston County Commissioners welcomes comments from the public. However, there are some guidelines governing such comments to ensure they are appropriate and do not take advantage of the fact that most meetings are televised. The general speaking guidelines are as follows. Please introduce yourself, including the address you reside in the county. Please address the board, not the audience or staff. Please silence your cell phones for those in the boardroom. Speakers are limited to a total of 4 minutes to address the board. I apologize. Meeting attendees cannot donate their speaking time to another person. No comments that are lewd and offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. Please be respectful. No outbursts of any kind. No comments that are commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business. All materials provided to the county may be considered public records, subject to public release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256 of the RCW. No remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually come before the board on appeal, and no electioneering. Thank you so much for your cooperation. We will start with members in the boardroom, and then we will proceed to the members who have joined us via Zoom. Can Vice Chair Menser please read the names on the sign-up sheet, please?
Sure. Based on folks who signed up and checked off that they wanted to testify, first is John Pettit. Second is on deck would be Sarah Fox.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Pettit. I live out on Rich Road, Southeast, Olympia, Washington. Lots of people. Okay, so I wrote in a little letter and I provided some documents over to your office. I have huge concern about a process that's going on right now, and because the commissioners are the ones that truly have any power, the county manager, the county assistant county manager, they have zero power except what's provided to them. Unfortunately, you might be making decisions based upon a lot of bad information and being manipulated. That's going to be up to you to make corrections or not. You own it. So here's the main issue lying forward right now. It appears while the county was vigilant about wanting to go after, for instance, the Community Action Council, pointing the finger, over here, we got a problem. What they didn't do is point at the fingers at themselves for seeking to create a $50 million bond that they had no interest in actually using for the purpose of which was designated within the capital improvement plan or program. That's fraud. Essentially, what we've created here is we have a Ponzi scheme going on by Thurston County, led by your managers. And what's happening is this. Right now, Thurston County, they gave a loan over to the REIT 1 for $5.6 million. But what happened? Well, they put this loan over here and then they bought a building, and come June 30th of this next year, you won't have enough money in REIT 1 to pay that loan off unless you take this bond issue, which is designed not to be used for what's been declared its purpose, an infrastructure fix. They want to build a law and justice center. There is no law and justice center in the capital facility plan. Any expenditure for such is a misappropriation. You've spent millions and millions of dollars on other things. You're about to spend another couple million plus on furniture, and you refuse, your county managers refuse to give me the information about project numbers related to the furniture. Where's that in the capital facility plan? That's required for the expenditure of funds from the real estate excise tax REIT 1 fund. They refuse to answer. There's reasons for it. You need to take immediate action. Have an external audit. Maybe the FBI needs to come in. Maybe people need to spend 20 or 30 years in prison. The question is, for instance, with Mr. Menzer and Ms. Mejia, I don't see Ms. Mejia involved here anyway. Is this something you guys should be going to jail for 20 to 30 years as a Ponzi scheme? I am so aggravated because you don't want to listen and you ignore it. But right now you're hanging a $50 million amount over the citizens trying to circumvent the system. Either you take responsibility for it and the responsibility of what your managers are doing, you fire them, get some new people in, and then take action to collect for the losses personally from these people for not using the procurement policy as required by law. Ponzi schemes right here in little Thurston County. It's disgusting. And the people that want to claim to be the very essence of morality and ethics, they seem to be the ones generating and violating it the most. Thank you.
Sarah Fox. On deck would be Rob Kirkwood.
Good afternoon. On April 15th, I heard rumors that a residential facility will be going in off of 140th Avenue in Tenino, Washington. Keep in mind, I live off of 140th and Tenino. This is called Supreme Living, and this is not the only facility that they have here in Olympia. Supreme Living posted a job announcement on their website looking to hire staff for the new facility slated to open in May of 2022. When I called Supreme Living and inquired about the facility to open, I was told, quote, "This is a special and different facility," and that their residents have extensive criminal history and extensive mental health illness. There will be 6 males, all over the 6 feet of tall, all coming from McNeil Island. There will be 1 staff member per 4 residents. These residents, again, have severe mental health diagnoses and will require help with activities of daily living. I emailed and called my county commissioner on April 14th in regards to my concern, and today I still have not had a response. A neighbor of mine reached out to Ty Mesner's office And on April 15th, he stated there was no pending application for a special use permit. Once Supreme Living had submitted that permit, us neighbors would be receiving letters, and we would have an opportunity to speak as a community once this happened. On June 24th, again, I have not received any emails back from my commissioner within my district. Now, I understand we all have busy work and job duties to perform. However, with this level of concern I have expressed with numerous emails and phone calls, and knowing Supreme Living posted a job announcement with a scheduled opening date of July 5th, it perceives that my commissioner is not concerned for my safety. I have the right to my safety, and living outside of the city limits, we all know that response time for emergencies are decreased. We do not have a fully staffed fire station down Reeder Road, and there are only so many deputies per district in Thurston County. I open my doors and windows and I have fresh air, and it is my right to feel safe in my community. So I ask you, how long would Supreme Living have been operating in this facility without a special use permit, without you guys knowing? Supreme Living clearly knows the required policy and procedures on their part, as this is not their first residency. Do you fully understand my safety concerns and why my heart skips a beat, knowing that I will have 6 males with a significant mental health and criminal history living down the road from me and my family? My community will need to be aware of our surroundings and be cautious of our safety. I am disturbed knowing that Supreme Living was going to open up July 1st and are not in compliance with a special use permit. I'm also disturbed by the fact that our county commissioner knew about the floating rumors in April and the topic was perceived under the rug. I do want to sincerely thank Robin and Commissioner Gary Edwards for responding to my inquiry outside of their district. I want to thank Robin for listening to my safety concerns, answering all of my questions, and diligently following through, making sure that Supreme Living were not going to open. My house is not only my house, but it is my home. I ask you to take into consideration not following through with the special use permit. Thank you.
My name's Rob Kirkwood. My wife Valerie Hammett and I moved to Thurston County about 30 years ago and purchased property on Henderson Inlet. At the time, shoreline setback was 0. At some point, it was adjusted to 200 feet. It's currently 250 feet. That renders about 2/3 of our acre untouchable. I know the shoreline process is going through a review process at this point, and I hope to see you see fit to reduce it to 200 feet or even 150 feet. We're not out to cut it all down, but we would like to have a little bit better access to our property. And along those lines, we applied for a permit to build a driveway, avoiding the setback line. And it was told it would take 4 months. In the meantime, my neighbor has stripped his property, started a trench down to the beach without apparently any permitting. And it continues, I'm sure, today. And I don't mean just cutting down the trees. He's been very hard at work with his excavator. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Next up is,
Could we get Rob's address or something?
Yeah.
I have it right here.
You got it.
List.
Okay, good enough.
That's our in-town address. We moved to town 3 years ago.
But still, we'd like to know.
Yeah.
Can you send me in an email the address to your issues?
Yeah, I'm going to talk with
See,
somebody
okay.
inside.
Okay.
They'll have the info.
Okay, thank you.
Terry Stanley Ballard is next. On deck, Phoenix Homes.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name's Terry Ballard. I'm a 35-year veteran, and I live in Tanglewilde, which is unincorporated Thurston County. I'm really concerned with the veterans. All of you commissioners have received the report that John Pettit gave me on the Veterans Fund. So let's review in open. $1,127,000 has not been carried over from last year for use. You have a current balance of $218,000, okay, which totals $1,345,000 to spend on veterans. What are you doing? Well, let me tell you what you're doing, okay? Out of $1,429,000, okay, you're spending $30,000 directly on veterans, and you're spending $42,000 currently as far as salary and benefits for one employee. Wow. You're spending more on the employee than the veterans? I guess the success rate would be, again, to have 2 claims processed in 1 month and have a total of 4 claims for 2 months. And now we get another person to run the Veterans Fund that is a family member and not a service officer? That is ridiculous. What is this person doing in the health and in the social services department other than requiring to be on the Veterans Fund only? Well, I had an opportunity last time, and I find a very bad disregard of this. You can't comment to me. I can't comment to staff, but staff can comment to me without interchanging of ideas and truth, okay? And I see that's unfair. That's unconstitutional, okay? You're just trying to shut people up and put them in their place and say whatever you need to say going out the door. I got an option for you. Last time I was up here, I spoke about using a mental health fund, a road fund, and veterans fund in Mr. Pettit's Ponzi schemes, okay, for usage outside of those funds. I was told by the manager that this was false information. Well, I got an ultimatum for you. If I come up with that document, that's false reporting. That's a gross misdemeanor that he falsely reported to you and falsely reported to me, okay? If I come up with that document, I want his resignation or I want him to be fired. I'm tired of this crap of being talked to behind my back in public without a response. As far as the Veterans Fund is concerned with, Mr. Mark Moffett decided to use part of the Veterans Fund for getting one homeless person, train him, feed him, clothe him, put him on the street. But that's already there. We already have those programs. Here's a transitional housing program for homeless veterans. Here's a coordinator for homeless veterans. Here is a employment and employment support for veterans. They already exist. Why are we duplicating for funds out of RCW 73.08, which is an emergency fund for veterans? Not to get them off the street. This is an emergency fund to maintain them. Why are we doing that? That is a question. We are abusing the veterans, and you know what? You didn't lose. I didn't lose. My veterans lost. They're losing the opportunity to survive in an environment that we are overextended in. Thank you.
Phoenix Homes. And that's the last sign up on the in-person.
Yes, and good day. Greetings. I am Phoenix Homes, and I'm an advocate for the homeless. Greetings, Time Minister, commissioners, and the public. Good day. 2 constituent communities, which are the homeless community and the community at large, are stuck. Time Minister, during your campaign, you promised things. We, the homeless constituents, came to you for leadership crisis help, and you promised it. Instead, you used and stole our homeless votes, sir. During that year, to June 14th, 2008, Ty, you as the director, and you and the commissioners promised a solution to both communities, a public health crisis for the homeless and opioids. But the crisis money the resources and help never appeared, and no one was informed properly. We, the homeless, are still suffering. Even during a worldwide crisis of the COVID, we were still illegally bulldozed against many laws. And here are the laws that I give unto you. Appeals court. People who live in tents have the same privacy, and a homeless man who live in trucks, is that their home? And many Supreme Courts rule of Idaho, of Utah, and Ty, you are an attorney, sir? We come to you for help. Shall I mention that an opioid crisis was also declared that day, was part of that too. And we, the homeless, were just pumped full of fentanyl, pink, drugs, you name it. And then the governor, Inslee, didn't help us that as well. Plus the weather, plus survival, plus your bulldozing. And you never even gave us any notice at all at times. And you arrested us as well at times, sir. Why in God's name shall I put you back on that stand, sir? Why should I even vote you back in? You stole our votes. You put a public health crisis. You gave us all this.
Ma'am, I have to stop you. This is electioneering.
Housing is a constitutional right, and our people are dying. Genocide is being done. My people are dying because of you, sir. And I need help. My people are dying. My homeless family are dying, and you're at fault. I need help. What are you doing, sir? Help me. You are going against these laws. Help me, sir. Look at these laws. Please, sir. You declared a public health crisis. Where are you, sir? Please, sir. I beg of you, where are you? Where's your leadership that you promised us? Where's your public health crisis for not just the homeless, but for the opioid crisis? Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Is there anyone else in the boardroom?
Anybody else in the boardroom who'd like to provide testimony this afternoon? Greg, no? So I'll move to the Zoom screen, and I'm going to call based on the order that I see in my screen. Mr. Tony Wilson, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. My name is Tony Wilson. I live in Tumwater urban growth boundary, just south of the airport in unincorporated Thurston County. And I saw something in the newspaper today which prompted me to attend this meeting. I also want to congratulate all of you who worked on this habitat conservation plan. There was one that failed to gain the approval of Fish and Wildlife. Insufficient detail, and I know that that prompted Commissioner Hutchins in particular and Commissioner Menser and staff to dig in and produce something that does work. And I think in the light of what's happening in Thurston County right now, the population growth, the expansion of wealth here, people from the state moving here, people from out of state moving here, this is one of the most important things that could have been accomplished here is solve this gopher problem. I think Commissioner Edwards in particular has carried that flag for years. And I'm just really thankful to see it happen for people that I know that want to build and can't because they don't have anything to work with from county government. So thank you very much. And I congratulate you on this win. I don't think that there are enough attaboys in these meetings. And here's one. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next in the Zoom screen, I have Ms. Lynn Fitzhugh.
Thank you.
Go ahead, ma'am. 4 minutes.
Thank you. Lynn Fitzhugh, Olympia resident representing Friends of Trees Action Group of Restoring Earth Connection And I understand that there are 6 people outside with signs, also in support of you all. I'm often here to ask for something, or yes, even complain about something. But today it's a joy to be here to simply say thank you. I thank all 3 of you for your articulate and well-researched 2 letters to DNR about Summit Lake and also Capitol Forest proposed cuts. We know that trees were slated to do 10% of the drawdown work in our regional climate plan. So this large number of trees that DNR proposes cutting on Capitol Forest in the next 4 years really matters. We also know that the largest 1 to 2% of trees in a forest do over 50% of the drawdown work of those forests. So our legacy forests really matter, and we are glad that you agree. We realize that DNR is now reaching out to you to meet with you. If their response in their press release to your Summit Lake letter is any indication, they seem to feel that they are right and you are wrong. There are many of us here today to say, no, we think that you are right, not them, and to please stand your ground. We are counting on you to protect our local forests. It was very telling that in your response, in a response to you, you said, if you have to cut the hill at Summit Lake, please at least cut it diagonal lines to protect against landslide. They said, no, we cannot do that because we have to clear cut so that we can replant for future cuts. That pretty much says it all. They want to create plantations to keep making money, and they are not concerned about landslides. This extraction mentality with no understanding of ecosystems and their balance is how we got into this climate mess to begin with. Their attitude is also evident in their recent issue, of their giving a permit to the Cooper Point developer, ignoring studies that both the City of Olympia and the county had previously done showing various environmental problems with developing that site. They allowed the developer to cross a creek off the map as not existing and did not challenge this assertion. This kind of sloppy disregard for our community is why we turn to our commissioners to protect our local environment from DNR. Thank you again for all your efforts.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, I have Mr. Joe Hanna. Go ahead, sir.
I have no comments today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Christy White. Go ahead, ma'am.
Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Christy White, and my family lives in the Delphi Valley, and I am a contributing member to the Legacy Forest Project. We reside on forested land adjacent to Capitol Forest and have since the early 2000s. Our land is home to black bear, cougar, bobcat, deer, owls, grouse, sometimes an elk, and other wildlife. I wish to thank the members of the board who have taken steps to reevaluate funding sources that come from state-owned Department of Natural Resource forest lands and contributed to addressing this issue with the DNR leadership. Preservation of our state legacy forests is important. Legacy forests have value alone, and even more important, they become old growth forests. These forests are critical to offset the negative environmental challenges we are all facing. Legacy forests are a very small percentage of the overall crop holdings of DNR, and I emphasize the word crop. I ask you as commissioners to work collaboratively with DNR, engage talented and knowledgeable citizens to find alternatives for funding other than from the DNR state forests. Review the cost benefit of destructive mass logging and find new options. These DNR lands can be profitable with a new and creative focus. The conversations for DNR to take that new focus start with local government pressure. Local government bodies need to ask and require other options from DNR. Earlier today, you acknowledged the history of Thurston County and how important having a book written about that is. I hope that legacy forests will also become part of the future history of Thurston County. Thank you again for your interest and support of our amazing forests in Thurston County and the courage to reevaluate other funding sources. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, I have Nova Berkshires. Nova Berkshires. Moving on, next I have Ms. Laurelyn Lirio. Lauren Lirio.
Thank you. I don't have comment.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Paula Lowe.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Paula Lowe. I live at 5202 Rumack Street Southeast on Patterson Lake. I'm talking to you in regards to our proposed Patterson Lake Management District petition and public hearing that we have coming up. I'm requesting that you stand behind the motion and to direct staff to expedite the Patterson Lake Management District as fast as legally possible, as you stated in the motion. The Water Resources staffer sent me an updated timeline for our Lake Management District. It misses the November 1st deadline by 3 months. That's the date the assessments need to be at the assessor's office. Milestones need to be set up so the goal can be achieved. The timeline is not designed to meet the Commissioner's directives of expediting the Lake Management District to begin in 2023, as we stated in our petition. I do want to note especially that we turned in our petition December 2021. According to the Water Resources staff schedule, we have to wait 2.5 years to start our Patterson Lake Management District. 2.5 years. It was only supposed to take 1 year. So we're very disturbed by this. We're disappointed that it can't move along faster. And so we're just asking you if it can be moved along faster so that we can start it sooner. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Madam Ms. Lowe, if you can remain online, I'll have an update for you related to Patterson Lake.
Okay.
Thank you. I see the Mr. Nova Berkshires turned on.
Yes, thank you. I don't have so much of a prepared statement as what Lynn and Christy just gave, but I'm very much a part of the Friends of the Trees thinking and group, and want to thank you for the work that you have done on behalf of protecting forest ecosystems and habitats. And I totally support continued protection and doing everything we can to advocate for a whole life ecosystem, not just the prosperity of a few businesses or economic development. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Next, I believe I have Mr. Brian Bishop.
Brian's from Central Services, is he not?
Yeah, sorry.
HR. Sorry, Brian.
Sorry, Brian.
All
Thank
good.
you. I think that will conclude public testimony, Madam Chair.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go through county manager's update, and then after we will be moving on to the public hearing.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. And this is related to the follow-up of the public testimony you received 2 weeks ago. And I think Ms. Paula Lowe was there urging the Board of County Commissioners to expedite the timeline on the formation of the Patterson Lake Management District. One of the first actions the board took is to set the public hearing on the intent of forming the Lake Management District on Patterson Lake, and that is scheduled for July 26th. I have worked with the staff. I have reached out to the Treasurer's Office. The Treasurer's Office has given me an updated deadline, and that will be an accommodation per se of December 16, 2022. Before we get to that point, the Board of County Commissioners needs to go through a due diligence related to the actions that lies ahead, including a voting period. We need to make sure that anybody involved related to this particular information of the LMD needs to have adequate information and enough heads up as to when that voting will occur. Right now, we have scheduled the voting period to go from September 6th to October 4th. After that, we need to make sure that we verify the votes and tally the results before the board can consider taking the next steps in the process, which the board needs to set a public hearing, creating the role assessment. And finally is getting to the point of the board needs to give enough time within the process and to the public involved before the board can enact any fees and charges to those individuals that might be involved. With all that being said, and Ms. Lowe outlined correctly, the new deadline is for us to complete the process is January 30th, 2023. So the role assessments for 2023 will not be possible at this point. And it's not possible due to the process that we need to follow. However, this morning when I reported to the commissioners this new timeline, the board exercised a good conversation this morning. And the conversation will be that in order to facilitate the next steps in the process with the Patterson Lake Management District, if the vote is approved and if the board actually gets to the point of approving the whole assessment, the Board of County Commissioners will have a conversation during the budget process this fall to see an opportunity to have a short-term loan to the newly formed Lake Management District so they can continue with the actions that you may need to take in 2023. Knowingly that perhaps the assessments on the property taxes will not be until 2024. And that is my report. Any questions, sir?
No questions at this time, sir.
And that's all I have in terms of my testimony, my follow-up. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, we will be pausing our Board of County Commissioners meeting and we will be doing a public hearing, and it is on this same link. So we will be having a public hearing for the FY 2022 HUD Annual Action Plan. It is 3:04 p.m. and I'm calling this public hearing to order. The purpose of this public hearing is to accept and consider public comment on the proposed year 2022 HUD Annual Action Plan. This is a virtual public hearing. Those wishing to testify have joined by Zoom, phone, emailed in comment, or mailed in comment. If you wish to testify, please visit the Thurston County homepage online and select announcements of public hearings on the left-hand side. The information to join this public hearing remotely has been posted there. If you do not wish to testify but would like to listen and follow along, please watch the live stream through the Thurston County YouTube channel to help us manage attendance. Staff, Jacinda Stelgis, will provide information on this topic. The board will then hear public testimony, beginning with people testifying in person in the room and then moving to testimony from people joining via Zoom. You will have 4 minutes to testify. Time may not be given to another person. When you are called on, please state your name and address for the record. The clerk of the board will review the timer. So, Vice Chair, will you do me the honors? The public hearing is now open. So Jacinda Stelgis will now present background information of the proposal written comments submitted, and any additional information requested by the board.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jacinda Stelches, Affordable Housing Program Coordinator with Public Health and Social Services. Again, this hearing is being held to take public comment on the HUD Program Year 2022 Annual Action Plan and to ask the board to authorize staff to submit that plan to HUD. The Program Year 2022 Plan, Annual Action Plan, identifies how 1,312,980 thousand in CDBG, Community Development Block Grant, and $1,042,309 in Home Investment Partnership Program funding through the Department of Housing and Urban Development will be allocated in program year 2022. As a reminder, that program year begins September 1st of 2022 and runs through August 31st of 2023. The plan does identify how those funds will be awarded, and I will briefly run through those awards. There will be community development block grant funds awarded to senior services for South Sound for their home share program, Rochester Organization of Families for their Kids Place After School program, South Puget Sound Habitat for Humanity for their Yelm and Bucota Neighborhood Revitalization Program, Boys and Girls Club of Thurston County for their Yelm Scholarships for Low and Moderate Income Youth, City of Tenino for their Quarry Pool Renovations Phase 2 project, City of Yelm for their Off-Leash Dog Park project, Boys and Girls Club of Thurston County for Tenino Teen Center Roof Repair, and Thurston County for our CDBG program administration. CDBG funds were awarded in South Thurston County this year. So those are the areas of unincorporated Thurston County, Rainier, Bucota, Tenino, and Yelm. For our Home Investment Partnership Program funding, home funds, projects that were funded are Low Income Housing Institute's 2028 Martin Way Phase 2 Affordable Housing Project, South Puget Sound Habitat for Humanity's Talichan Townhomes Phase 1 project, and Thurston County's Home Program Administration. The written comment period on our 2022 plan began June 10th. It does conclude after this public hearing, and we've accepted written comments to date, and of course, oral comments here today, and have not received any comments thus far. Following this public hearing and any comments, those comments will be considered, and then again, with the board's authorization, staff will submit our plan to HUD with our program year beginning again in September 1st of this year. So I'm available for any questions that may come up.
Thank you. Any questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, ma'am. Thank you.
Commissioner Menzer?
No.
Okay, with that, we'll open up for public testimony and those wishing to testify in person first.
We have nobody in the room, Madam Chair, and I don't think we have anybody in Zoom either.
Okay, so with that, is there any discussion?
I guess my only discussion would be that I want to thank staff for getting this organized, and I'm prepared to move forward with whatever is needed to make this happen. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No.
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Are we ready to move forward?
Madam Chair, I will move to approve the fiscal year 2022 Housing and Urban Development Annual Action Plan and authorize the Chair of the Board of County Commissioners to sign the HUD Form SF-424 and approve submission of the plan to HUD.
Second.
And authorize the county manager to sign the applicable program certifications, CDBG subrecipient contracts, and amendments that do not change the approved dollar amount or duration of the contracts by more than 10%.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
No.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, with that, we are closing this public hearing. It is 3:11, and we are moving back to our Board of County Commissioners meeting. So we left off with consent items, item 3 on the agenda.
Madam
With
Chair,
that, is there,
oh, I was going to propose a motion to approve items 3A through 3H.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. With that, we'll move on to department items. First items from the Commissioner's Office, item 4A, long-term involuntary bed expansion project number 25578, contract amendment. And Robin Campbell,
Yeah,
is she there?
she's just getting the
Okay.
microphone going.
Thank you, Commissioner. Apparently, I was waiting to hear my name. Good afternoon, Robin Campbell, Assistant County Manager, and this afternoon I am requesting approval of the board for an increased amount of a contract on a capital project. The county owns and in partnership with the BHASO, which I believe stands for Behavioral Health Administrative Services Organization. We operate a Center for Involuntary Treatment. The facility currently has 10 beds, and we began a capital project to expand that by an additional 6 beds. Thank you, Romero. We entered into a contract with Birchauer Construction of Olympia in December of 2014 in the amount of $1,132,964.99. Since that time, we have been experiencing extreme inflation in the construction industry, as with all construction projects in the county. And while the board had authorized up to 10% increases in this contract and delegated authority to me to sign those, we have at this point exceeded the 10% by approximately $30,000. So I am asking the board to authorize a new contract amount in the amount of $1,280,000. The contract would not exceed that amount, and to authorize me to sign any change orders to be able to complete the project. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
All right, yes, I do have a question I'd just like to clarify. So this is going to be a total expenditure, $1,280,000?
Yes, not to exceed that amount.
Not to exceed that. So we had another contract, and this is just bumping that up by 30,000? I'm just doing.
So it's increasing the base contract by 10,000 plus an additional, not 10,000, but 10% plus an additional 30,000.
So we have not paid this money out yet. Is that what I'm?
Not all of it. We have made payments in progress. The project is almost complete.
But in no case, it will not be over 1.28.
That's right.
Okay.
This is the final amount. It will not exceed, which is why you don't see a request for an additional 10% authority. And I will mention that the county is paying for this project through a grant from the Washington State Department of Commerce, and the grant is sufficient to cover this higher amount plus the project management costs.
Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you. Commissioner Menzer, questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve an increase to the long-term involuntary beds expansion project number 25578 for a total contract amount not to exceed $1,280,000 and authorize the Assistant County Manager to execute any necessary change orders.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
You know, I might point out that on many of these items that we're going over today, we've had numerous discussions over the last month or so. And I just want the public to know if they're ever interested in any of these items, they could go to our YouTube channel and take a look at our agenda settings if they wanted to see this in depth. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Next is an item from Emergency Services, item 5A, Night Vision Binocular System and Basic Accessory Kit, Night Vision Goggles.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I just wanted to, so I'm going to present on this very briefly. Homeland Security Region 3, which Thurston County is the lead administrative agency, receives state Homeland Security grant funding for fiscal year 21 in the amount of $350,545 to support state, local, tribal, and territorial efforts. The grant does require that 25% of the monies go towards law enforcement and terrorism prevention activities. And Thurston County Sheriff's Office submitted a project proposal for night vision goggles, which are a part of the required 25%. The local committee on terrorism and the Thurston County Emergency Management Council approved the purchase of the night vision goggles as a part of Thurston County's allotment for the grant. And we're asking for a motion to approve the resolution authorizing Emergency Services Director to approve the purchase of these 12 night vision goggles for a total of $132,575.81.
Thank you. Under Sheriff Brady, anything you would like to add?
No, thank you for having me this afternoon. I think Ben covered that very well, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No, like I said earlier, we've covered this extensively. Thank you very much, Ray, for being here, and Ben, thank you.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No, ma'am, my questions were answered this morning.
Yes, and my questions were answered last week. I learned a lot about how many actually night vision goggles we currently have, which I was really surprised to learn that we have so few and that they're older systems. So this will definitely help out our Sheriff's Office. With that, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve a resolution authorizing the Interim Emergency Services Director to approve the purchase of 12 night vision binocular system and basic accessory kits, night vision goggles, in the amount of $132,575.81 for the Thurston County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to Public Health and Social Services, item 6A, updated Thurston County Criminal Justice Treatment Account Plan, and Carrie Hennon, our program manager, is here to report on this.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Carrie Hennon, Public Health and Social Services, and I have several items today related to the Criminal Justice Treatment Account, otherwise known as CJTA. CJTA is funding from the Washington State Healthcare Authority that comes to Thurston County through Public Health and Social Services, and this funding is to be used for substance use disorder treatment and recovery support services for individuals involved in the criminal justice system. We receive an allocation of about $367,000 a year. And the first item is the updated criminal justice treatment account plan. So per the statute related to CJTA, there is a local panel, which includes the Sheriff's Office, the Prosecuting Attorney's Office, Superior Court, Drug Court, Public Defense, and a substance use disorder treatment provider. That panel is tasked with developing a plan for how the county will expend these funds, and then that plan comes before you. So what I'm presenting to you is a plan endorsed by our local panel. The plan includes 9 uses for our criminal justice treatment account funds. 1, substance use disorder assessments when requested by a defense attorney. 2, treatment and support services for individuals participating in drug court. 3, parenting classes for CJTA eligible individuals. 4, treatment and support for individuals in mental health and veterans court. 5, medication assisted treatment for individuals with opioid use disorder in the jail. 6, housing case management and rental assistance for eligible individuals. 7, domestic violence treatment. 8, services for pretrial services participants who are eligible for CJTA, and 9, naloxone for overdose reversal. That was a mouthful. So the plan has been updated again by the panel, and we are asking for your approval today.
Thank you. Questions, commissioners?
No, ma'am.
No.
Commissioner Windsor? Okay.
No.
I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the updated criminal justice treatment account plan detailing uses of criminal justice treatment account funds from the Healthcare Authority as recommended by the local criminal justice treatment account panel.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
No.
Okay. I'll call for the vote.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menser,
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye. Motion passes. Next is item B, and it's agreement with Dispute Resolution Center of Thurston County for criminal justice treatment account funds.
Thank you. Yes, so within that plan, as I mentioned, there are services to drug court participants and services to mental health and veterans court participants. Those include recovery support services, and one of those recovery support services that we have been interested in locally is the use of restorative justice facilitated dialogues. So this agreement is a partnership with the Dispute Resolution Center of Thurston County to facilitate those restorative justice sessions with our treatment court participants. So again, asking for your approval of this agreement with DRC.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Menser?
No.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
Move to approve an agreement with the Dispute Resolution Center of Thurston County for $9,600 in criminal justice treatment account funds for the period July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023, and authorize the Interim Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menser,
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye. Motion passes. Next, item C, contract for parenting classes with family education and support services for criminal justice treatment account funds. Carrie?
Yes, another element of the plan that you just approved for criminal justice treatment account, again, is parenting classes for individuals with substance use disorders who are involved in the criminal justice system. This is an agreement with Family Education and Support Services for $22,000 for the year beginning July 1st, 2022. So asking for your approval of that agreement to provide parenting classes to eligible individuals.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Menser?
No.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
Move to waive competitive bidding and approve a contract with Family Education and Support Services for $22,000 in criminal justice treatment account funds for the period of July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023, and authorize the interim director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye. Motion passes. Okay. Carrie, we're almost there. Last item. Item D, interlocal agreement with Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Administrative Services Organization for Criminal Justice Treatment Account Funds.
Thank you. Another use of criminal justice treatment account funds in our plan is housing, case management, and rental assistance, again, for EJTA eligible individuals, those with substance use disorders involved in the criminal justice system. Most of this funding is used to place people in clean and sober houses, such as Oxford houses. And this supplements a related, basically the same program that we use treatment sales tax funds for. So we've had a lot of success in placing people in these types of housing options. So this is an agreement with the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Administrative Services Organization for $105,000 for the year that began on July 1st through June 30th of 2023. So asking for one more approval today.
Okay. Any questions? Commissioner Edwards?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Menzer?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve an interlocal agreement with the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Administrative Services Organization for a total of $105,000 in criminal justice treatment account funds for the period of July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023, and authorize the interim director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Okay, moving on to Public Works, item 7A, resolution and call for sealed bids for the Chehalis Western Trail 41st Avenue Trailhead Access and Parking Project, CP number 51006. Kevin Forbes Kashani is here, our Associate Civil Engineer.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Public Works is requesting permission from the Board of County Commissioners to call for sealed bids for a contract to construct a parking lot at the 41st Avenue Northeast Trailhead for the Chehalis Western Trail. This project will construct a 19-stall asphalt parking lot accessed by a driveway from 41st Avenue Northeast. The addition of this parking lot will allow off-street parking and safe access to the trail for users. The trail will be connected to the parking lot via an asphalt pedestrian walkway. Also incorporated in this project is a lockable gate for the driveway, storm drainage with the drainage pond, and additional landscaping improvements. The engineer's estimate for contract award, construction management, and parks and trails administrative cost is approximately $440,000. This estimate is more than the current approved budget. However, a budget amendment request has been submitted, has received preliminary Board of County Commissioners approval, and is scheduled for adoption by the board this month. The revised project budget will be funded with $330,000 in parks impact fees and $110,000 in real estate excise tax fee funds. This project is in the 2022 through 2023 Public Works budget, the 2022 through 2027 Capital Improvement Plan, and is in alignment with the County Strategic Plan Initiative 7 to balance development with the preservation of the county's rural character, natural areas, and open spaces, and Initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community. Parks Operation Manager Ed Marson and I will be happily answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
Maybe just one clarification. Did you say this was, part of this was REIT funding?
Correct.
Yeah, and is it REIT 1 or REIT 2?
REIT 2.
REIT 2. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No.
I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve, move to approve the resolution calling for sealed bids and authorize the county engineer to set the bid date and time for receipt and opening of said bids for the Chehalis Western Trail, 41st Avenue Trailhead Access and Parking Project, CP number 51006.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye. Motion passes. Item 7B is resolution and call for sealed bids for the Kennydale Park restroom replacement project, CP number 51099. And Kevin Forbes Kashani, our associate civil engineer, will also report on this. Kevin?
Thank you. Commissioners, Public Works is requesting permission to call for sealed bids for a construction contract to replace the existing restroom near the lodge at Kennydale Park and install a pre-manufactured restroom in its location. The project will construct a 6-stall commercial-grade vandal-resistant restroom. The current restroom is outdated, does not meet current ADA standards, and is susceptible to vandalism. The new restroom will reduce maintenance needs and meet ADA compliance standards. In addition to the replacement of the restroom, an ADA parking stall will be constructed, additional LED lighting installed, and approximately 300 square feet of sidewalk replaced. The engineer's estimate for contract award, construction management, as well as parks and trails administrative costs is approximately $950,000. This estimate is more than the current approved budget. However, just as the previous project, a budget amendment request has been submitted, has received preliminary approval, and is scheduled for adoption by the end of this month. The revised project budget will be funded with $617,500 in park impact fees, as well as $332,500 in REAP 2 funds. This project is in the 2022 through 2023 Park Public Works budget, the 2022 through 2027 Capital Improvement Plan, and is in alignment with the county's Strategic Plan Initiative 7, as well as Initiative 8. Once again, myself as well as Ed Marson are available to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions. Oh, well, maybe one comment. I want to make sure I'm right. There's going to be a restroom there that's functioning on another part of that park. Is that right?
There's currently another restroom at the park closer to the Black Lake.
Okay.
That will be functioning throughout this construction process.
Thank you.
Yes.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the resolution calling for sealed bids and authorize the county engineer to set the bid date and time for receipt and opening of said bids for the Kennydale Park restroom replacement project, CP number 51099.
Second.
Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye. Motion passes. That will conclude our agenda. We'll go with our standing item. Items 8A, commissioners will report on board work sessions and assigned committee meetings, providing updates and actions taken, as well as upcoming issues. Commissioner Edwards, we'll start with you, sir.
A meeting with representatives about housing, Washington State representatives about housing, and a fair board meeting that took place on July 6th, and I brought a magnetic sticker for the side of my car to hold up to do a little advertising for the fair coming up later this month. But by golly, it either came off or somebody wanted it more than I wanted it. It's not on my car anymore. And so I can just say the Fair Board has worked really hard on putting together a really good fair, and we haven't had one for a couple of years. So I would encourage all those folks out there that are of fair interest to please come and see what goes on. And I think there's one day your county commissioners are going to cook pancakes for you, I think, as well. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Menser?
Attended an Innovative Justice meeting this morning where we had updates on LEAD, Resource Hub, soft opening, which is going pretty well. We had Washington State Association of Counties meeting yesterday on the Voluntary Stewardship Program. And I had meetings with citizens, continued discussions about DNR and legacy forests. And beyond that, I was at a family event last week.
Thank you. For me, for last week, I attended, well, yesterday I attended WASAC, the VSP program too. Last week I attended the 10th Congressional Local Leaders Roundtable with Congresswoman Strickland. Brought forth a variety of issues, including our infrastructure bill and how we need clarification on that. And then I attended the intercity transit. Not much to report on that. We are working through our strategic plan right now. So we went through our mission and our vision, a lot of work and a lot of suggestions. So there's going to be more of that our next meeting. Attended SWAC. Nothing to report on that one. And after I just met with constituents for various issues, as well as with staff. Next, the county manager will review the Board of County Commissioners schedule for the week of July 12, 2022.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me walk you through your combined schedule where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. Beginning tomorrow, Wednesday, July 13, at 9 in the morning, you have a capital improvement program briefing, and this is leading to the budget conversations here in the fall. You will have a break at lunch, and then follow up on the capital improvement program briefing. They will start at 1 in the afternoon tomorrow. It will go all the way to 2:30. At 2:30 in the afternoon tomorrow, July 13th, you have a briefing related to the 2022 Conservation Futures Program application briefing. And at 5 in the afternoon tomorrow, July 13th, you have been invited to participate on the community stakeholder reception that is related to the Lacey Market space. And that will be located on the St. Martin's University campus. Thursday, July 14th, at 9:15 in the morning, you have an executive session where the county prosecutor will be addressing to the board the recent appeal to board action that has been filed against the county. And follow up at 10 in the morning on July 14th, you have another executive session related to the rental assistance. On July 14th, which is Thursday, 10:30 in the morning, you have a briefing related to the water and sewer utility study. In the afternoon, beginning at 2, from 2 to 3, you will have a briefing related to the ARPA funds spending, followed by the 2022 Open Space Tax Program application briefing, and that will be on July 14th. Friday, July 15th, you have a day-long planning session, and it's going to be from 9 in the morning all the way to 3 in the afternoon. And lunch will be provided, and that planning session will be held here in room 280 of the courthouse. Moving on to Monday, July 18th, you have your standing meeting at noon with the Washington Association of Counties. I just realized that I skipped one particular item, and that is on Thursday, July 14th, and that is at 6:30 in the afternoon. You will have your yearly Planning Commission Appreciation Dinner, and that is going to be held at the Mercado Restaurante at 111 Market Street, Northeast in Olympia. And again, that will be on Thursday, this Thursday, July 14th. It will start at 6:30 in the afternoon. Thank you.
Okay, any questions?
Yes, just a clarification. On the Planning Commission meeting, we haven't had that for a couple of years now, have we?
That's right.
Okay.
You have to thank the pandemic.
Thank you. No, that was it for me, ma'am.
Okay. Questions, Commissioner Benser? Oh, sorry. Okay, I saw your head shake. I'm sorry. Okay, with that, it is 3:41. We are adjourned. Thank you for a great meeting.
Thank you.